Today we were unveiling our task force recommendations, our age-friendly recommendations for Brooklyn. We're very excited that they're out. This was actually started by Mayor Eric Adams, and it's now something that I'm taking on. The recommendations are great, and we're going to stop talking about it and start doing something about it, which we're really excited about. This is just laying the foundation for the work that we'll be doing for our age-friendly Brooklyn over the next term, this term. So we're really excited. Just having a great time here in Bed-Stuy Restoration, in Bed-Stuy, with a group of older adults. The commissioner was here from New York Aging, Assembly Member Zinnerman. So it's just great to be out here with family presenting this great. Take your seat. Good morning, Brooklyn. All right. It's all right. It's okay. We're all happy to see each other. And when that happens, people get excited. I like it. I like it. There you go. There you go. There you go. Please, Commissioner, please take a seat. You're right there. You're good. You're good. All right. I love the energy. Love the energy. So we're going to get started now. So first, I just want to say, good morning. Good morning. My name is Antonio Reynoso, and of course, I'm the president of the greatest borough in the city of New York, which is Brooklyn, first and foremost. But we are there because of the contributions of 352,000 older adults, ages 65 and older, who call Brooklyn home. These are people who made our streets beautiful, who built their businesses here, who taught generation after generation of school kids, and that's only the start of it. If it wasn't for the people that laid the groundwork for folks like me, I wouldn't be standing here as the borough president. We stand on your shoulders. Thank you. We stand on your shoulders, and it's why, in this report, we'll discuss it. It's about time that we get to work for you. But as our borough rapidly grows and our older adult community continues to increase, we have to do more to show up for the people who have spent their lives showing up for us. I'm so grateful that Mayor Eric Adams, during his time as borough president, launched the Age-Friendly Brooklyn Task Force and brought over 29 Brooklyn-based organizations who dedicate themselves towards the well-being of our older Brooklynites. This task force has been hard at work over the last few years, surveying nearly 2,000 older adults in Brooklyn to figure out how we can build a Brooklyn for all. And today I am thrilled that alongside our amazing partners at the New York Academy of Medicine, give them a round of applause, I have the privilege of bringing us together to celebrate the release of the task force recommendations for an age-inclusive Brooklyn. This is one of those times where my predecessor did some work and I get to do the ribbon cutting. So the spoil, the riches of that. So I'm grateful to that. So these are recommendations, and there are 10 real ways we can improve health outcomes and expand opportunities for older adults. 10 steps that we can take so that we can age in place and enjoy this borough throughout our entire lifetimes. It should come as no surprise that topping the list is better housing options. As this city tries to build, we've got to keep supportive housing, grandparent housing, and home sharing options in mind. We have to think about our streets too. Our sidewalks have to be safe, clean, and well-maintained. I always talk about sidewalks. Do you know that sidewalks are always the first parts of our city that get intruded on? People want to put a bench somewhere, they put it on the sidewalk. People want to put a new Link kiosk, they put it on the sidewalk. They got a new sign they want to put up, let's put it on the sidewalk. You got a couple of benches we want to add, just throw it on the sidewalk. Before you know it, we don't have space to move. And when it comes to our older adults, to me as a parent, when I'm moving with a stroller, it's just impossible to move through these streets because of all the furniture and everything. And it's about time we take a look at our sidewalks as non-expendable places, as places that we have to protect so that we can move freely through. Our intersections have to be well lit. I was just talking to the assembly member less than 10 minutes ago. She was talking about the dire need for better lighting on our streets. And we are having a conversation in passing. And like I said, a lot of the times when we do these reports, there are things that you already know, that you already knew were issues. And we were just talking about projects that we can work on together to talk about lighting across this district and across Brooklyn, but lighting and how important it is. Our MTA bus drivers and rideshare drivers need the training and resources to support older riders and riders with disabilities. From digital literacy to better language access for mental health services, the immediate ways this city can show up better for its people are right there in front of us. And one of the best parts is that these changes will help everyone who call Brooklyn home, which is very important. And the commissioner talks about this all the time. What's good for our older adults is good for us all. It's like the benefits we are going to be able to receive through this report are not only going to benefit our older adults, it's going to be good for all Brooklynites, and I'm really excited about that. Because, of course, community is intergenerational. Families are intergenerational. And I want my mom to be able to walk my son to school no matter how old she is and no matter how young he is. I don't want anything to get in the way of the love that people in this borough have to share. So I'm going to be carrying out these recommendations close with me as my office continues to work on our comprehensive plan for Brooklyn, a vision for our borough that puts the health of our people front and center. And there are many people I want to thank and acknowledge today. And this is important because a lot of folks don't get patted on the back for the work that they do. So take time to be grateful for the work. Of course, first, the New York Academy of Medicine that took the time and effort to put this together. I want to thank them. Mayor Adams for setting the table and the foundation for this effort. I want to thank him as well. Of course, the Department of Aging Commissioner, Lorraine Cortez Vasquez, who's here with us today. Our many task force members, some of who I see here today. Age-friendly Central Brooklyn Incorporated. There you go, look at that. Brooklyn Community Foundation. The Brooklyn-wide Interagency Council on Aging. The Myrtle Avenue Brooklyn Partnership. And of course, Councilmember Crystal Hudson, who also chairs the Council's Committee on Aging. Our Assembly Member Stephanie Zinnerman. Our Councilmember Chiosei. We want to thank Community Board 3 that helped us through this, Henry Butler as a district manager. Dr. Kim Best, who's here with us today. Stand up, Kim, let them see you, let them see you. A round of applause. Oh, I know, I want them to see you. Dr. Michael Caitlin, who's also the Vice Chair of our Senior Service Committee as well. Where's Dr. Mike? There he is in the back. Thank you so much. And the many others who contributed their time and energy towards this work. If I listed you all, we'd be here all day. You know how that rolls. I get myself in trouble either way. But I want to thank you all for what you've done. But we also have some great speakers in store. So without further ado, I would like to remind everyone to spread love because it's the Brooklyn way. Yeah. And that's very important. So when you see these folks come up, this effort is going to mean something because it's not going to just be something on paper. What the task force has produced is something that the city, the state, and our Borough Hall office is going to work on doing the best we can to actually follow through on the recommendations that were made by the task force. So now I want to start by bringing up Ilana Kiefer, who's the director of Center for Healthy Aging at the New York Academy of Medicine. So please come on up.
I'm a little shorter. Here we go. All right, good morning, everyone. Thank you. Good morning. Thank you, Borough President Reynoso, for hosting our event today and for your leadership and your commitment to health equity and to healthy aging in Brooklyn and across the city. And thank you also to Councilmember Hudson, Councilmember Osei, Assemblymember Zinnerman, Commissioner Cortez Vasquez, for being here, for speaking, and also for really your unwavering commitment to older adults and people of all ages in Brooklyn and across the city. So my name is Ilana Kiefer. I'm the director of the Center for Healthy Aging at the New York Academy of Medicine. We are not located in Brooklyn, but we do work all across the city, and we're so happy to be here. And at NYAM, we conduct innovative research, programs, and policy initiatives to ensure that everyone and people of all ages have access to good health and health care. And one of the priority areas that we focus on is healthy aging. And we've been working on that all the way back since 2009 with the Mayor's Office and City Council to improve the health and well-being of all aging populations, both through immediate changes, and you'll see a lot of them listed here today in our report, as well as longer-term systemic changes that will take a little bit longer to work on, but are just as important. Nearly 15 years ago, we, along with many partners, developed the Aging Improvement District Model to help amplify the voices of older residents in planning for their neighborhoods, and also in economic development efforts on a local basis as well on a borough and citywide level. Bed-Stuy was one of our most successful pilots, thanks in huge part to Assemblymember Zinnerman, and of course to age-friendly Central Brooklyn. Bed-Stuy really is the vanguard of the age-friendly neighborhoods movement. And there are about 15 other age-friendly neighborhood organizations across New York City that really look to Bed-Stuy to replicate your achievements and your work and your progress and your successes right here. And we're really, truly honored to be standing here today and to be among all of you. NYAM developed the Age-Friendly Brooklyn strategy in collaboration with our current mayor, Eric Adams, back when he was borough president a number of years ago. We surveyed about 2,000 residents, perhaps some of you in this room today, and using the data from that survey, as well as data that we have from our Image NYC map and other secondary data, we developed our first age-friendly Brooklyn report back in 2019 that outlined 33 broad recommendations to make the borough a more age-friendly place. And then through continuous support by the current borough president and his staff, and in partnership with all of you here today, we brought together almost 30 organizations to prioritize the top 10 recommendations, and then to develop specific and concrete steps that the borough president's office can take, along with all of us and many other partners, to improve the quality of life for Brooklynites of all ages. So I want to give a huge thank you to my colleagues at NYAM, especially Mario Rubano back in the corner over there, taking pictures, as well as to the borough president's staff, who has been absolutely fabulous to work with, John, Stephanie, Dan, and Isabel. They really are the ones that made today happen. I also want to give a shout out to Ryan Greenlaw at Myrtle Avenue Brooklyn Partnership. He has been, oh, there you are. We've been lucky to work with him and with Age Friendly Central Brooklyn on a grant-funded project by the Brooklyn Community Foundation to really focus on the area, in that particular area of Brooklyn, and it's been a wonderful partnership. And then, of course, you'll be hearing very soon from Selma Jackson, president of Age Friendly Central Brooklyn, David Dring at Bay Ridge Center, and Maria Alvarez of BWICA. And really, all of you have been partners in our work for the last number of years, and I'm truly grateful. And I just look forward to working with all of you in this room on this very timely and important work. Thank you so much.
All right. Now, I'm just going to be emceeing now. They just got me working. So the next person is going to be, we're very happy to have these folks here because the mayor made a commitment when he was borough president, and he's following through on that commitment by coming back. He didn't leave me alone and say, Antonio, congratulations, here's a report, deal with it. Instead, he said, I started it when I was a borough president. I'm going to provide you the resources, and we're going to work together to make this happen. So I want to be able to bring up our great commissioner, Lorraine Cortez Vasquez, who's here with us today.
Thank you. As a Bronxite, it is always interesting to get to Brooklyn. But I love the passion in Brooklyn. You have the same passion that we Bronxites have. Yeah. Good morning, Assemblywoman. It's great to see you. Antonio Reynoso, Borough President of Brooklyn. I love saying that. It is a joy to see that your commitment to the older population has continued. You had that as a council member, and you see it now as a borough president. These recommendations are things, as you said so aptly, we've known them, we've needed them, we've requested them. And I love the idea that you have all come together to say, stop talking about it, let's make it happen, right? So I want to thank you for that, and thank you for your leadership. It's it's great for me to see this work done. When New York City Aging started working with the City Council years ago, no, that's not me, thank God. New York City Council and the New York Academy of Medicine years ago on this whole idea of age-friendly and creating an age-friendly commission. And many people were involved in that commission. Council had some membership, the council put some membership in, and then the mayor also added some membership. And we came together with a bunch of dedicated people. And then we were issued a report, and I believe it was 2018 before I became commissioner. And we saw all of the value of that. It reflected much of this work. What you've done is taken it more granular as to what you need in your borough and location. And so it was to ensure, your work is to ensure that Brooklynites get that very high report that was written and some of the achievements that were done years ago. I want to say that Mayor Adams, and thank you for acknowledging that, took this one step further. He knew what he started in Brooklyn. You have a fabulous blueprint to implement now. And he took it one step further, and I was gratified to hear the Academy of Medicine start talking about age inclusive. Because what I say all the time is what works for older adults, if we have universal design, if we have universal approaches, it works for families. It works for mothers with strollers, or fathers with strollers, or grandmothers taking their children to school. 1 of 9 emergency contacts of our children in our Board of Education is an older adult. Yes. So just remember that. So it is about intergenerational. It is about making this an age-inclusive city. So I really want to applaud you for that. I also want to applaud you, Selma Jackson, for all of the work that you've done and your leadership. And none of this is possible without leadership like that. None of this is possible without the support of our elected officials, so I want to thank you for that. And none of this is possible without funding. And I say to you, this is about making streets safer. We're looking at pedestrians. I know pedestrian safety is also part of this plan. That's a very big issue for us in terms of age inclusive. The mayor, with the support of many elected officials, has put together a cabinet. He has taken 20 key agencies across the city to look at exactly that. How do we all work together to make sure that these become realities? How do we work together to make sure that we have no gaps in services? How do we work together that there is no wrong door? That if you have access to one benefit, you have access to other benefits. Those are the things that we're working on a larger citywide basis, but those are the things that grow out of the work that you've done here in Brooklyn. I applaud each and every one of you. I congratulate you, and I look forward to making all of these things a reality before his next term.
Thank you so much for that. This is something we're doing at a municipal level, alongside, of course, my office and the mayor's office. But just recently, I got a call from a state rep that's saying the state has to step up too. We can't just allow for this to be a city-centric issue. And if you know anything about these agencies from the state and city level, they don't talk to each other. It's silos. So we have a responsibility as electeds to bring them to the table. And of course, we have the city Department for the Aging, or you're even changing that name. NYC Aging, there you go. She's amazing. She's gonna have us all talking the right way in no time. But NYC Aging is here, and then I had a conversation with your assembly member, and she said, I'm gonna do my part to make sure that the state, New York State Aging, I'm gonna rename them too, is at the table as well. So I wanna just say thank you, because it was an unnecessary call that had to be made, but she made it, and she sat with me, and we went through how we can work together. So I wanna bring up your Assembly member, Stephanie Zinnerman.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the 56th Assembly District. One of the first aging improvement districts in all of New York City. I am Assembly Member Stephanie Zinnerman, and it is my pleasure to welcome you all here today for this very, very important report out to the community on the beautiful work that each and every one of you have been doing for, what are we at now? 2007, so somebody do the math. Somebody do the math. Exactly, exactly. I am an aging advocate. I am an aging disruptor. I am a member of I think, the baddest and the best aging improvement districts in all of New York State. And I am your partner in making sure that older adults age in place and we implement the services and provide the resources for the work that we have before us today. I want to start out really underscoring a couple of things that you said. Number one, it is very rare in government that we have continuity of services from one administration to the other. So you heard the borough president talk about what the previous borough president did. When I think about this seat in the 56th Assembly District, my predecessor, Al Van, was the member in the city council that started the first helped start and implement with NYAM the first aging improvement district. So through changes of administration, through changing of aging policy, names of agency, all of those things happen. But this community, these agencies have to give it up to NYAM, Brooklyn statewide services, of course our friends at Myrtle Avenue BID, the borough president, each and every one of you have stayed fast. Today is about continuity, it is about legacy, it's about history. And the reason why this report is so important, because the most important people in the world were at the table. The older adults in this community and throughout Brooklyn stood up and said, we are gonna be respected, we are gonna be included, and in the words of Shirley Chisholm, we're gonna pull our chair up to the table, take a seat, and tell everybody what it is that we need. And so we already know what to do. We brought the best resources to the table, right? But now it is about the implementation. It is about the next steps. And so when I think about sidewalks and infrastructure, during the time when I was at the city council, the mayor of Cleveland, Ohio came to Brooklyn. And they took a tour because they wanted to see our sidewalks, they wanted to see our infrastructure, they wanted to ride our buses. And I know that we complain about our transportation and everything from a stressor ride to the buses, but it's better than most. It is better than most. And we know what we need to do to improve those services, and it is illustrated in this report. But now, to your point, we need to work together, right, as older adults, as not-for-profit agencies. And I am remiss because sitting before me is one of the best partners a community could have. It is Blondell Pinnock from Restoration Corporation. Nothing happens in Bed-Stuy of note unless it happens at Restoration. So I really am grateful for the fact that you chose, Borough President, this location and this community to launch this report. It is so important in terms of the partnerships that we have had. And so when we talk about housing and the future of housing, I don't know if you all have been paying attention to the type of housing that has been coming up, but we need your voices to be stronger. because we are families and we have a value system about how we want to live together and how we want to share housing. What's being built doesn't necessarily contain your voice, and so we need more older adults to talk about what senior housing really looks like, right? We've changed as a society, right? There are a lot more older adult women around than there are older adult men. What does that do in terms of how we design housing? Most of you know that I am the chair of the subcommittee on emerging workforce, and one of the groups that we looked at from the very beginning were older adults. Older adults contribute to our society in so many different ways, but certainly in the field of employment. Some of them have retired and come back to work just because they want to continue to give to their communities. But others absolutely need to work because it is very expensive to live in this city. This is an opportunity for government, city and state and federal agencies to come together to provide training for new careers, to provide you with the resources that you need to age in place. These are all things that this report reveals that we need to absolutely focus on, and I am happy to be a partner with each and every one of you. I want to close by just talking about some of the things that happened during the pandemic. The New York City Aging took stock of what was going on, provided tablets to our older adults, and from everything from telehealth to Zumba classes to yoga to training, you connected older adults across this city. And I just want to thank you all. Thank you, Commissioner, for the work. This week, we just passed a bill. We didn't pass the bill yet, but where the bill is going to the floor, so that we are looking at what neighborhoods that have NORCs, how are those services working for you? Whether you are a vertical NORC or a horizontal NORC, can you feel those services? Do you know where they are? And if they aren't, then we have to do the work as city, state, and federal again to focus in on those agencies who are going to provide the best services for you. Because we don't want to spend your tax dollars on organizations that are not serving you. So we want to make sure that you are digitally connected, right? We want to make sure that you know that you have a seat at the table, right, as illustrated here. We want to make sure that you know that you can volunteer in any aspect of this community. Any aspect of this community to help us, whether it's with our children, whether it is with intergenerational programming that promotes healthy lifestyles and healthy living, all of those things are at your disposal. But know that in this room, we have all we need to make these 10 recommendations happen. So let's get to work and let's make it happen, and let's keep working as a family to ensure that older adults in the city of New York live with respect, dignity, pride, and have a whole lot of fun doing it.
The Assembly member said, I'm glad that she was glad that I chose this area to do it. I didn't want the spirit of Al Van chasing me for the next area. I'm not playing games. I know where I'm at. I know where I'm at, but I appreciate that. I was a staff member for then Councilwoman Diana Reyna, because I've been in the city council since I've been about 23 years old. As a staff member, and I knew Al Van back then when he was a councilman, obviously, and I was just a lowly staff member running up and down the building. There you go. Yes, and I just want to say a lot of folks, when you're in the system and you see everything that's happening, you know how to move in a way that you can get things done. Seeing Al Van do his job helps me do my job better, right? Like, that's very important. So I just want to say, a lot of staff members and chief of staffs that run for office, people like to diminish that and say, oh, they're in government. It's like, it's not. Because day one, they're going to be able to get more resources than someone that's never been in the game. So wanted to say that because I'm remembering Al Van and how great he was, and learning from him. So thank you all for lending us Al Van for as long as you did. Now, Of course, this couldn't have happened without Central Brooklyn and the work that you guys have already done in setting the table and the foundation for this work. And I want to call up somebody that's very integral and important to that work. He's been mentioned a lot already, but please, the president of Age Friendly Central Brooklyn, Selma Jackson. Please come on up, Ms. Jackson.
Good morning, everyone. First, I want to thank Elena Kiefer, Director of Healthy Aging at NYAM, and for inviting me to share remarks, and also to thank Borough President Reynoso, Assemblywoman Zinnerman, and I don't see our council member here, but our council member Osei, as well as council member Hudson. Good morning again. My name is Selma Jackson, and I serve as president of Age Friendly Central Brooklyn. We began as a pilot program in 2011 and evolved into a senior-led nonprofit for older adults aged 62 and over. Yes. Age Friendly primarily serves Central Brooklyn older residents. Our members have appreciated the programs and services we offer, so much so that they've invited their friends and family from other neighborhoods. And so we have folks who joined us from other communities, and we are so grateful for that. Our goal is to support our members to age in place gracefully through learning new skills, entertainment, fellowship, community engagement, and of course, advocacy. So that's why we're here today, y'all. The pandemic heightened our awareness of limited or missing services, and so we were committed to supporting NYAM and the Brooklyn Task Force in preparing this report. For Age Friendly, the top two areas of concern are transportation, which was number 3 on the list, and health services, which was number 4. For us, they are on equal levels. Can you afford the ambulance fees to get to the health care you need? Or can Access-a-Ride pick you up to get you to your doctor on time? And why has Access-a-Ride limited the taxi authorization to only within one borough? They used to offer it around the city, but they don't anymore. And this is difficult, especially when they strand you or they're not reliable. And another thing is that there are very few options once this happens. We feel that transportation services for older adults should be like what they offer in South Brooklyn, the Jewish Community Council of Greater Coney Island, that we should have those options in Northern Brooklyn as well. Healthcare. What are older adults entitled to, and how are we advocating for their care? Age Friendly is ready to work with the Borough President to find solutions for better care, no matter one's financial ability. A recent incident bothered me. I live in senior housing. A neighbor who had a stroke several years ago is now experiencing balance issues and only has a home attendant 4 hours a day, Monday through Friday. If she falls during the night, she's on the floor till someone comes in the morning. If she falls on Friday, she's there until Monday. And I'm asking, why aren't there some type of on-call or on-site services so that people have some way of having special access if it's needed? And the building has the ability to serve their 10%, 15 units that are for disabled. So if you have that option, or if you have that segment of your building, why aren't there supportive services for those individuals? I want to leave something. We talked about intergenerational and how we serving the young and the well. I am a member of the silent generation, but right behind me was the baby boomers. And I remember when I was in school, K through 3, I had to go to school half day because there were so many kids. That age group, the baby boomers, started turning 65 in 2011. Did we forget that we had, and let me just go back a little bit, 10,000 babies were born a day during the height of the baby boomer. So, did we forget that 10,000 people every day are turning 65? You know, and how are we serving that huge expansion? So we really need to think about that. We've got the report. We're asking that. We're here, we're strong, and we're ready and able to assist in making it happen so that everyone who is over the age of 62 or 65 can age in place with dignity. So I thank you for listening.
It was great, obviously. So like lining up the folks that know what they're talking about is what I want to call it here, the committee that gets it. Because even though we are in a very important area in Brooklyn that speaks and advocates for senior services and senior advocacy in general, is of course here in Central Brooklyn. Bay Ridge is another area that has a population, aging population, talking about NORCs and the resources that we need to provide to folks. It is in one of those places. And David Dring is here with us, who's the Director of Innovative Programs for Older Adults at Bay Ridge Center. And I want you guys to give him a best eye welcome, a big, a beautiful one for coming here. So come on up.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that, and so welcome from, hey, appreciate that. So welcome from Southwest Brooklyn. I'm in Bay Ridge, sort of the area with the Staten Island Bridge, as people refer to it. And so I want to congratulate all of you for the work that you've done to be able to put these recommendations together. They are spot on. So in our area of Brooklyn, just to kind of let you know, we have one of the largest populations of older adults. It's going to grow by 45% before 2030. And the Department for the Aging actually discovered that we will need to grow our capacity as an area by 75% in order to meet that need. So I'd like to thank again the Department for the Aging to help us expand the site that we are currently in into a whole new building. So we're delighted to have a new space, and it's going to allow us to do these recommendations. So to kind of talk a little bit about those, we do have a new location. We're growing from 5,000 square feet to 20,000 square feet. We will have opportunities to be able to serve not only Bay Ridge, but Sunset Park, Dyker Heights, Fort Hamilton, and the other areas. It will allow us to expand to be much more multicultural. So we're very excited about that. And I'm a technology person. It's one way people know me a lot. So I was delighted to see the two recommendations about how we can do more with technology. And once again, thanks to the Department for the Aging for making available all the tablets. It was a huge opportunity for us. So in our new building, we will have a computer lab that will be huge with lots of computers, with laptops, with tablets, with phones, so we can do all of that sort of training. We also will be having a lending library so that people can come in who don't have a tablet, be able to use the tablet in our space. We'll have free Wi-Fi throughout the whole place, so we will be a place for people to come and be able to be a part of this digital economy and learn about sort of digital literacy. The other thing I wanted to show is that we also talked a little, in the recommendations, it's talking about housing. So we're really delighted to partner with a group called the Fifth Avenue Committee, and we have a new housing development that's happening in Sunset Park. The Bay Ridge Center was actually going to be providing the social services in that building, and we would like to think that we did a pretty good job on the universal design, but you know, we will always take, right? There you go. And then the last thing is that transportation is an incredible issue for all older adults, and making sure that it is accessible, not just that you kind of wait outside and have someone try to get to your place, but do the door-to-door sort of opportunity. So we actually have 4 different vans that travel around. Two more coming, so that we can be able to serve all that area. And we like to think of ourselves as innovative, so we are expecting the next 2 vans to be electric. So that's kind of exciting for us. And the last thing is that our largest activity in our new place, or in our center now, is exercise programs. So you mentioned Zumba before. We do Zumba online, actually, so it's a lot of fun for us. And we now have a new exercise space that has equipment from Europe. We did an international search for what is the best equipment for seniors, and then what is the best equipment that is evidence-based, so that we can be sure that we're helping people be that lifelong vital aging, if you will. So I want to just thank all of you for all the work that you do. And one of my heroes is actually Angela Davis. And she said, never stop.
Great job. You're gonna have to get, one of those vans is gonna have to come up here. Right? Like, we wanna go there, right? We got a driver too, which is, by the way, you can get the van and then you need the driver. The New York City Aging. So now, our last speaker, but not our least speaker, of course, is we want to bring up the executive director of the Brooklyn-wide Interagency Council for the Aging. Actually, not our last speaker, but we want to bring up the director of Brooklyn-wide Interagency Council for the Aging, or BWICA, of course, Maria Alvarez. Maria.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So nice to see a lot of the members here, and I want to wish everybody a good morning. Assemblywoman Zinnerman, Commissioner, thank you for attending. This is very important. So for those of you who don't know, Brooklyn-wide Interagency Council for the Aging is a nonprofit organization. We work on a grassroots model where we have representatives from all over Brooklyn that come to Brooklyn Borough Hall every single month, and not only get information to take back to their communities, but also bring information so that then we can share it, and then we could take action. We're very much an action-oriented organization. And one of the actions that we took was we participated as committee members of this report. And it was great because it also fostered many, many conversations. One of the biggest conversations we're having at Brooklyn-wide right now is about accessoride, right? We have people come in every single month with petitions, because what we want to do is to make sure that actually to provide training to the MTA bus drivers and rideshare drivers on working with older adults. You know, I always say that Brooklyn has the largest amount of older persons in, not only in New York City, but in the whole state, right? So I always say in Brooklyn is where it happens first, right? We always have to make sure that we, if something is gonna happen talking about older New Yorkers, this is where it has to happen first. Some of you may know about the Master Plan for Aging. In just a few years, the state of New York is going to be 20% of the population will be 65 and over, which means that a report like this is coming at the most timely moment where we should be examining every area of the infrastructure of New York City and New York State to make sure it's accommodating 20%, fully 20% of the population that is not gonna shrink. We're only poised to grow more. And as the commissioner said, if it's good for older adults, it's definitely good for the rest of the family, and which is what we want to do, right? We always say that the grandparents always want what's good for them, what they're enjoying, so that their children and grandchildren also get it. So I want to thank Ilana for putting this together. Thank you, Borough President Reynoso, and looking forward to getting active with all of the things here. Take care.
All right. Now we're gonna, in their home, of course, because we are at the Best Eye Restoration Center here, I want to bring up the president and CEO, Blondell Pinnock, to come up, and you're going to close it out for us. Are you ready? All right, so come on up. Give them a great round of applause, please.
Thank you, Borough President, Commissioner, Assemblywoman Elena, thank you. I'm honored to be able to host this meeting. I think this is one of the most important convenings that we can have here, because what I understand and what I know is that restoration stands on the shoulders of the older generation. Because the people who founded Restoration, the people who recommended this be done, consisted of not only young people, but people who lived in this community and knew this community and worked in this community and wanted to make sure that they created something that would stabilize Bed-Stuy. And I too am a Bronxite, but I also understand. But I also understand the power of Bed-Stuy and what activism means, because everything that happens here and everything that happens in a city truly starts here. And I see that every single day. And it's interesting how someone said the word vanguard, because as you all know, if it wasn't for Al Van, this building would not even be here. So again, understanding the importance of who came before us, and understanding that while I know I need the energy of young people, I sustain myself on the wisdom and ingenuity of the people in this community. So I'm grateful to be here. I'm thankful that you all here. I'm willing, Restoration is gonna be a partner with you in any way that we can, because we cannot do this alone. So thank you.
That concludes the show for the day. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you all enjoyed it. And again, the words of the great notorious B.I.G., don't forget to spread love. It's the Brooklyn way. Thank you so much.